I'm 40 and I wasted my life. No house, no savings, no career that I'm proud of.
One of my favorite quotes is that old fools used to be young fools. And I love that quote so much because it exposes the cycle of life that most people are blind to. Don't even realize that they're in the same cycle. You hear things like, oh, you're young, you have time. Oh, you're young, don't take life too serious. And then the old fool always regrets him not taking life too serious because he was just young. I want y'all to check out this video of this man that realized he wasted all of his time having fun because he was young, and now he has nothing to show for it. And then at the end of the video, I want to break this whole thing down to y'all and how I feel like y'all should be living to avoid being a guy like this. And shout out to this guy for being so vulnerable. I just want to say that ahead of time.
I'm 40 and I wasted my life. I've got nothing to show for it. No house, no savings, no career that I'm proud of. I'm pouring everything that I have into this channel because I've got nothing else. And if you're in your 20s or even your early 30s and you think you've got time, I'm telling you right now, you don't. I wish I had someone in my life when I was younger, someone who actually cared enough about me and was smart enough to show me how life really worked, how women really operated, and what I actually needed to focus on. I didn't have that. I was getting all of my ideas about love and success and women from movies.
And honestly, this is exactly why I make my content. I know I do a lot of entertaining content, but I try to be really informative with my videos because I understand that there's a lot of young dudes out there that don't have like a big brother, may not have a granddad to give them wisdom or even their actual dad. Now, I mean, that's why I have so much passion in my content, because I want to be that person for somebody that doesn't have nobody to talk to. Now, I mean, if that makes sense.
Idiots my own age who didn't know anything at all. So there was no sense of urgency, no perspective, just vibes and dumb plans and this fantasy that everything would somehow work itself out. And it didn't. In my 20s, I thought I was, super deep and cool, and because I had tattoos and I knew some obscure bands and played drums, and I thought being different was a personality. I wasn't building anything real. I was just chasing sex and novelty, hooking up with women because I was addicted to the high, not the connection, just the rush. I spent more time crushing on church girls who didn't like me and hanging out at coffee shops and smoking cigarettes, drinking lattes and, going to hardcore shows. I did more of that than I did doing anything that would help me long term. I mean, at 23, I was playing ding dong ditch with my friends, like I was 13 again, thinking it was hilarious, which it was, but fun times. But I wasted so many hours just trying to get validation from people who didn't care if I lived or died. At the end of the day, I thought my life was meaningful because it looked cool in photos, looked cool on MySpace. But, all I was doing was burning through the most valuable years of my life. The years where I had the most energy, the most flexibility, and the most time to build something meaningful.
Let me pause him right there. I want y'all to picture this in your head, okay? And I'm going to get to all of this after he gets done talking. I'm going to break it all down. But I have to say this while I'm thinking about it. Matt, a lot of people say that, oh, you're early 20s, oh, you're young, make the mistakes and all these things, right? Imagine if LeBron James seen life like that. Imagine if some of the Denzel Washington seen life like that. The greatest people in history, imagine if they seen their early 20s. It was like, imagine that. Would they be as great? No, they did something that everybody else wasn't doing. So now they're living great for the rest of their life because when everybody else was just playing, they was taking stuff serious. Just pay attention to that. Like he just said a key factor right there. Know what I mean?
My life. the years where I had the most energy, the most flexibility, and the most time to build something meaningful.
Yep.
Nobody told me I was wasting it. Nobody. And
Look at Mike Tyson, and this is the last time I pause it. Look at Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. When you seen Mike Tyson fight Jake Paul, what did you peep? Mike Tyson don't look like Mike Tyson no more. You know what I mean? His great days is like his best physical days are behind him physically. So imagine if he just, he just played with that time. Those young 20s. Imagine that. Those days, once you get older, you start to realize, damn, my best physical days were in my 20s. You know what I mean? Was my early days in my adulthood. For the rest of my life, I'm trying to maintain health, But, okay, let's keep going.
And when the world sees you drifting, it doesn't intervene. It just keeps feeding you distraction after distraction, lie after lie, while profiting off of your blindness and ignorance. And then fast forward into my late 20s, then I got into a relationship that wrecked my life. She got pregnant and everything changed. And I love my son. I would never undo that. But that relationship, it was a disaster. I did not know how to choose wisely at all. I confused chaos and passion and intensity with love because no one ever taught me the difference. I thought it was normal for things to be dramatic and unpredictable. I thought that meant we were meant to be or something. I don't know. But instead, I don't know what was going on, but instead I ended up in family court fighting for time with my own son, treated like an intruder and a criminal for wanting to be a father. And then in my 30s,
that's the story of a lot of men.
My 30s weren't the best years of my life. You hear that a lot. Your 30s will be the best years of your life. 30s and 40s. 30s were a nightmare. I was broke. I was depressed. I was isolated, missing my son constantly, and dealing with games and lies and schemes my ex would pull to destroy the bond between me and my son. I wasn't just dealing with grief. I was dealing with a system that didn't care if I disappeared. And yeah, a few times I, in the midst of all that, tried to date again. I finally started to see what I'd been blind to in my 20s. I was no longer that 27-year-old stuck in a 500 days of summer mindset, falling for manic pixie dream girls, just because they liked the shins too. Now I saw the red flags clearly. Girls with baby rabies, daddy issues, manipulation, all of it. I could spot it instantly. I was like a bloodhound for that kind of thing. It's easy to detect now. That's the part that stings the most. Now I'm 40. I hate my job. But it's not just that. I'm disillusioned by the world. Once you see how everything really works, how broken it all is, you cannot.
See, and this right here, this stage that he's about to introduce to y'all is the realization. And I feel like the realization that he's about to have, or that he's having now at 40, the earlier you have this realization, the more you have ahead from the finish line or from the start line, because a lot of people, they wait way too long to have this realization, in my opinion at least, to have this realization that he's about to describe. And it's just the realization of how things actually work. He explained all of the fun and everything that he was enjoying, in his young days. But peep the realization that he's about
But it's not just that. I'm disillusioned by the world. Once you see how everything really works, how broken it all is, you cannot unsee it. Everything feels fake. The economy is a scam. Inflation is gutting families. People are more isolated than ever before. No one's honest. No one's fulfilled. And there's a deep apathy baked into everything now. That's why I'm here. This isn't a content hobby for me. This is me refusing to stay silent. This is me using what I have left to build something real, because the clock is ticking. And also, you know, if I die before I can tell my son any of this, before he can know, I mean, he's almost 11, but I want my son to know that his dad didn't just give up, that I fought very hard.
This page is Dad Mode in Dark Mode. All right, go ahead and go give him a subscribe. Check out his content. I really enjoyed his realness and just how authentic that video was, because a lot of people get up on these cameras, they get a mic in front of them and they think they gotta sell somebody a dream so they can eventually sell them a course. And I'ma just be real with anybody that's watching me that you possibly want to do some content. Those days of selling a dream, people are tired of hearing that and then getting sold a course. Authenticity wins, relatability wins, okay? And I feel like that's why me and my audience, we resonate so much, why we feel like we brothers, why we feel like we sisters. Let me keep it real on the mic, you know what I mean? So I really appreciate how real that video was. So first thing I want to say is 40 years old is not old by any means, but in a lot of people's eyes, by 40 they want to have things figured out. That's the way you kind of picture yourself. Don't get me wrong, I do believe that young men should be able to have fun and enjoy those young years. Therefore, when you're married and you have a family, you're not out here trying to live out your younger days while you have real life responsibilities. But a balance is key. From the age of 18 to 29, those years are so pivotal. But I hear a lot of people say, it's okay, you're young. You have the rest of your life to figure it out. So we take that as, I'll figure it out later, but I'm gonna have fun right now. Especially going from kid to now an adult. Light bulb doesn't switch in your head that fun has to still be with a balance. So guys make decisions like, oh, I can sleep with as many girls as I want to now. Running up credit cards just to keep up an image on Instagram, or just to make a girl happy, or just to make people feel like you got more money than you actually do. Eat, smoke, drink, just letting your body go because you feel like, oh, I'll look good forever and still be able to put whatever I want in my body. And when you're young, it all feels like a game. It feels like, I'll live forever. You are free to do as you please. But everything I just named has a potential to have long-lasting consequences that you can suffer from for the rest of your life. That picture of yourself that you have when you're 40 slowly but surely gets smaller and smaller because of all the decisions that you're making in your early 20s, because you believe you just got so much time to fix stuff. So let's map out what those consequences can look like. Let's just say you sleep with 30 girls and one of them has an STD that you can't get rid of. That is something that you now have to keep for the rest of your life and explain to every partner you sleep with, along with the wife that you told yourself you one day want to have. Not only that, let's just say out of those 10 girls, you get one of them pregnant, and maybe that's a girl you really don't know. That is 18 years that you have to talk to that mom. And when you're a father and you're not with the mom, you will quickly realize that the mom has most of the leverage in those baby daddy, baby mama relationships. So that's 18 years. Let's just say you get her pregnant at 20. The consequence of that action won't be done until you're 38. And I'm not talking about the child. I'm talking about dealing with a woman that maybe you don't like or you don't know. All because you wanted to have fun in your early 20s. See, there's a difference between fun and being reckless. So that's no longer just a young man's problem you could just fix later. No, that's 18 years. And then you have the guys that run up their credit cards, they get cars that's too expensive, the car gets repossessed, or maybe you get an apartment and you get evicted from the apartment. You know that one late payment on just a credit card stays on your record for 7 years. It is a lot easier to ruin your credit than it is to fix your credit. Fixing your credit can take years. And in the midst of those years, you're not getting approved for houses, you're not getting approved for apartments, you're not getting approved for cars. So this is all slowing you down because you thought in your early 20s you could just BS and fix it later. I know so many people right now in their 40s, their 50s, their 30s, they're still paying off credit card debt as if that is a bill from their early days of not understanding how credit works. But once again, that's not just a, oh, I'm young and dumb problem. That's something that will last a very long time if you don't get a grip on it, messing up how your actual future will look when you're done having fun. I want y'all to remember this. If you have good credit, you don't need a lot of cash. So protect your credit like you protect your children. If one of your family members that's irresponsible asks you to co-sign on something, don't do it. My credit is off limits. If I have money to give you for whatever you got going on, I'll give it to you before I put you on my credit. Because I am not going to let nobody mess up my credit. Because more than likely, if you're coming to me for me to co-sign on something for you, you're not good with credit. So why would I trust you with my credit? Unless it's your kids or your wife. The only reason why I say those two people is because I know if they fall short, I can cover the payment. That's the only way. But if you have a lot of cash and you have good credit, you have the potential to make millions with the right mindset. And most adults, they don't get the right mindset until they hit a bigger age. But by then, they have to pay for things that they did when they were young. So now you got the right mindset, but all of your finances has to go to all of your mistakes when you was young. Then the most popular one. You get out of high school, it's no more mama's cooking, no more daddy packing you lunch. So you're eating out all the time. Slowly but surely, you realize, wait a minute, I'm gaining weight. So now you're not as attractive. And by the time you look up and you say, all right, you know what? I'm gonna start taking care of my body now. I'm gonna start making better decisions with the food that I put in my body. Let me work out. That's an extreme struggle for most people because now you have to go against your normalcy, your habits. And the older you get, if you know anything about somebody that's a little bit up there in age, they are stuck in their ways. It is very hard to change your ways when you've been doing it for 10 years. So now your fitness is a struggle. And because you're not as attractive as you used to be, the attention that you're getting now isn't the attention that you're used to. So now you hate dating. Then let me get to your favorite thing. Those early years, once you get out of high school and you're entering your 20s and you're really figuring out how the world works, it's very stressful because it's a lot of stuff you didn't know in the beginning. So what a lot of these young people do, instead of kind of facing those feelings of overwhelming thoughts, they smoke, they drink, they party. And what does that turn into? All your comfort is now behind a blunt. That you feel like you cannot go through your day without smoking. That is the craziest thing to me. And then when you ask these people, you don't think that's an addiction? They will say no. But if I told you that I couldn't go a day without doing meth, wouldn't you say I was addicted? But I know there's somebody that's gonna argue with me about that point. Addiction is addiction. Back to it. So now you're 30 to 40 with unchecked trauma and anxiety because you've been hiding it behind a blunt. So you look up and you look in the mirror and you say, yo, what happened to me? Why don't I feel the life how I once had when I was younger? Why do I feel so sluggish? Why is it so hard for me to get out of the bed? Why is it so hard for me to get things done? Because instead of facing problems as problems happen, you were just masking it behind being high for 3 hours. So I tell you guys all of this because we hear the saying all the time. You're young. Make the mistakes. It's fine. Just have fun. We hear this all the time. You want to know something else that happens all the time that we don't talk about, but this can actually align together? Why is there always credit card companies on college campuses? Because they understand that you don't actually understand how credit works. So you'll sign up. If I tell you I'll give you $500 on this card and all you got to do is just get approved, then of course you're going to get approved because you're a kid. You don't have nothing on your credit. They just want to lock you in with their business. The world tells you it's okay to be ignorant. And then they prey on your ignorance. See, just because things are normal for other people does not mean it has to be normal for me. It is a saying that I walk with everywhere I go. At the top of the mountain, there's only the 1%. You always hear people talk about the 1%, how we want to be at the 1%. The richest people in the world are the 1%. The people that were strong enough to join the military is only 1% of Americans. The 99% of people is following what they were taught, is following what the normal thing is to do. So do I want to be a part of the 99% because I can relate to the people around me? Or do I want to be at the 1% at the top of the mountain where it's not a lot of space? I'm going to say it for y'all one more time. At the top of the mountain, it's the 1%. And the 99% is following what they believe to be normal. So y'all know I don't like to give y'all problems without giving y'all a fix. This is what I wish I would have been doing when I was 19. Number 1, staying in the gym. 40 minutes a day for 5 days out of the week. This is not only for me to look good physically. The gym helps you mentally do the hard thing. Do things when you don't want to do it. There's so many times I'm like, I do not feel like doing this set, but I have to do the set because I'm in the gym. This is just how gym culture is. You got to finish out your workout. Mind over matter, delaying gratification, because you don't walk out of the gym automatically that body that you want, but you know repetition will get you to that place that you want to get to. So delay the gratification. I feel good that I just went. I invested in the older me. It's a constant growth mindset that you have to continuously go to the gym. And again, y'all, that's only 40 minutes out of your day. Look at your phone screen time right now. For all y'all that say, I don't have no time to go to the gym, look at how long you be on your phone throughout the day. And fellas, by no means necessary am I telling you in your young days not to have fun with women. Have fun with women. Meet different women. Date different women. Be real with the women, but have your fun. Experience those things that you want to experience. But be very careful with your body, because it only takes one slip up to affect the rest of your life. And the truth is, something I wish I knew when I was younger was that the more you focus on yourself, like these things I'm telling you right now, the more women will like you. It's not the chasing women that's gonna bring more women to you. It's the confidence. Remember, if you're chasing something, then it has to be running away from you. Women want a leader, so that means you have to be standing in the front, but you gotta be something to follow. Women actually want to follow a leader. So be a leader. You don't become a leader by chasing women. You become a leader by working on self. If you don't believe me, remember the corny tech dude in school or the corny nerd in school? He ain't had no girls, but now you see him up on Instagram, you're like, dang, he living good with his tech job. He done got fit and all type of stuff. He was worried about himself. The women will come later. It is very easy to stand out as a man amongst other men when you focus on yourself, because so many other guys are led by their sexual energy. If you have control over that, you're in a whole different echelon from other men. Too many guys are so fixated on being that cool guy for the 4 years of college or the 4 years of high school. The real winner, who's cool and who's not, is the guy that walks away with something that he could benefit from for the rest of his life. You won 4 years and he just won 80 years. Think about that. So if you're gonna be out here messing with these women, please wrap it up. All right, wrap it up. And don't be out here messing with nobody's girlfriend or wife, because that's drama you just don't need in your life. And yes, you can catch something from head too. Work towards a profitable goal and stick to it. This is so vital. And don't ask me what should I be working towards. Y'all got ChatGPT. Y'all ain't got no excuse. You ask ChatGPT the right questions, break down what kind of person you are, what's the kind of things you like. It'll spit out a whole bunch of ideas. You could ask it for a timeline and all that. Now, I mean, a full breakdown or a rubric for you to be great at this skill, and you can learn it. All right. So stop getting under people's comments saying, "What should I do, big bro?" No. Use the tools that's out there. What you should do is keep looking, keep asking questions. That's what you should be doing. Keep being inquisitive. Way too much information nowadays to be confused. But stay consistent. There is success in the consistency, not just having the idea. Everybody has an idea, but when the idea meets consistency is when you get real growth. If you don't believe that, go on this channel right here and go to my very first video on this channel. And as you watch my content, you'll see that, okay, he started getting better at editing. He started getting better at talking, the lighting, everything slowly started to get better. That was by consistency. That wasn't that I had an idea and I figured it out off rip. No, I was consistent in what I wanted to do, and slowly but surely I got better at it, and it kept growing. That is where the win is. As soon as you have that feeling of, you know what, I kind of want to quit, I'm kind of tired of doing this, just remember, that is exactly where the 99% will stop. So stand there at that crossroad and ask yourself, am I going to be the 99% or am I going to be the 1%? Because only the 1% wins. The 99% is always starting some shit and never finishing. And that takes me to my next thing. Read at least 10 pages a day. It'll change your life and it'll change your perspective. One of my favorite books I read probably when I was like 25, 24 is The Laws of Human Nature. You put me in a room full of people, I have full confidence that I have a deeper understanding on how humans work than the majority of the people that you put me in a room with because of that book. Check that book out. It's called The Laws of Human Nature. And the very last thing is go for a walk. Put your phone down and just walk. All right, just talk to yourself. Now, I mean, break down and assess the thoughts that you're having. Dump the thoughts you don't need. Ask yourself, do certain people need to be in my life, and why do I have this person in my life? Like, have these conversations with yourself like you're talking to your little brother. All right. And you got to be very transparent with yourself while you're on this walk. This will give you a high level of mental clarity. Everything I just named can be done in 3 hours out of your 24 hours. Some of y'all are going to watch this. You heard what I said and you're still not going to do it. You know why? Because what I just said is for the 1%. It's not for all of y'all. You know what I mean? Now it's up to you of which bucket you fall in, because you're retaining information constantly, but not making any changes. So what's the point of keep on retaining information? You're not going to actually do something. Now, again, these are the things that I wish I was doing when I was 19. So these habits would have stuck with me. And if you guys are looking for a field to get in, right? Some type of profession. Peepaw never named college. I never named college because college, 1, is not for everybody, and 2, it doesn't guarantee nothing but a loan. What you guys want to be looking into is being a plumber, an electrician, getting a cert in HVAC. These classes are not that long, but these brothers is getting paid. I'm talking about $50 to $100 an hour, or for the simplest job for them. And AI is not taking those jobs. A lot of these jobs that people are going to college for is spending $50,000 in loans. AI is going to take that job. These physical jobs, those are skills that can never leave you. And the best part about it is you can scale it into an actual business to the point where you're not physically doing manual labor. And after all of those things is done, you still have time to chill. You still have time to have fun. After I do all of those things, I'm going to play my game. You know what I mean? I'm gonna sit on the phone and talk to my pops about just crazy stuff. I might chop it up with a bro or something like that. I'm a BS, know what I mean? But I'm not gonna BS in a way that is gonna set back any of the things that I'm working towards. My body, my mind, my spirit, my money. You can still have fun on your weekends, but have a budget on how much you're spending on the weekends, so you're not getting drunk and spending too much and then waking up Sunday morning like, damn, if I could do anything consistently in my early adulthood, if I didn't know what to do, those are the things that I'd be doing Monday through Friday. That is what we mean when we say a balance. Still have fun, but it can't ruin your progression. Don't use your credit card if the money is not on your debit card to transfer. And I'm gonna stop there. Listen, man, time doesn't wait for no man. And yes, the world will make you feel like you're out of place for not doing what everybody else is doing. But are you the 99% or are you the 1%? But anyways, y'all, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, turn on my post notifications and all that good stuff, man. Really appreciate y'all, especially if you stuck this long in the video. So until next time, y'all, I'm out of here, man. Peace.